I had a friend. His initials were PHN. You could tell by his last name he was a foreigner, though he'd lived in Japan his entire life. We were total otaku bros. We lived for mecha anime. We bought everything, from niche garage kits to standard plastic models. I remember one time we staged a raid on old stock of Macross destroids. We built a massive haul of them and sent a photo to the manufacturer. They actually sent us a thank you letter, saying they never expected their 1980s kits could look that cool in skilled hands. We also collected American tabletop miniatures together. We were especially obsessed with heavy gear. Even though they're small, the freedom of customization is incredible. You can swap chassis parts to build your own unique robot. And of course, as fans of the genre, we played through the entire Armored Core series. He was my best bro. We were in sync down to the smallest detail. I remember when Armored Core added the Overed Boost and Orbit functions. We both spent the whole night building our ideal machines to show each other. When we finally compared them, our choice of parts and even the color schemes were identical, save for a few decals. We were like twins. You know how people talk about reading minds? It was like that with us constantly, even though we weren't related. This happened about 4 years ago. We found a heavy gear game that only ran on Windows 95, and compatibility mode wouldn't cut it. So the two of us saved up money specifically to buy an old used PC with Windows 95 installed. Well, that friend, Philip, he committed suicide last year. The reason sounds incredibly strange and complicated. His parents always claimed they were just ordinary office workers, but that turned out to be a lie. In reality, they were buyers for a massive international antique brokerage with a branch in Japan. That was just their hobby job here, their true identity. They were the heirs to the top tier of an international insurance group that insures high-end antiques. We're talking about the level of wealth where you just hire a CEO to run things while you stay completely out of the spotlight. They said they didn't want to raise their son to be spoiled or arrogant. They feared that if he grew up selfish, it would be harder for him in the future. So they planned to reveal the truth only when he became an adult. About a month before the suicide, I got a call in the middle of the night. Philip's father, speaking Japanese with a heavy American accent, said, "Quick, come. I sent Hire, a car." When I arrived, the parents met me at the door. "Welcome, Nobu. Go to him quickly." They led me to Philip's room in a panic. His precious collection had been ripped out of the cabinets and scattered across the floor. The die-cast figures survived, but the plastic models were decimated. The head of a Hellmane, a garage kit we had built together, was shattered. I couldn't understand what could have driven my otaku friend to this. There were holes in the walls, and that old computer we bought was smashed to pieces. Philip was right there, swinging a chair against the wall. "Philip, come on, hit me with it instead," I yelled. He turned. He looked at me with bloodshot eyes. He stared at me for 30 seconds before he finally started to snap out of it. Once he calmed down, he told me what happened. My father said he has $6 billion in assets, and to keep them, I have to inherit the family business. At first I thought, what? You should be happy. I was mentally calculating how many models you could buy with that kind of money. Honestly, I didn't get why he was so enraged. But as we talked, I began to understand. Throw away these childhood toys. Start dreaming big. With this money, you could build a full-scale robot. If you work hard and earn it, of course. Why not put a robot statue in a city square? That favorite robot of yours with the dog face, with money, anything is possible. That's essentially what they told him. For Philip, it was a strike to the heart. To be honest, I felt insulted too. Was everything we lived for and enjoyed just trash? We worked our asses off at part-time jobs to buy those trophies. It wasn't trash. Philip felt the same. It was devastating. No matter how many thousands of boxes you buy with someone else's money, you'll never build them. They'll just sit there gathering dust. Philip looked at his broken figures and wept bitterly. Back then, I thought things would eventually be okay. Cut all your old ties. We'll give Nobu plenty of money to convince him, so don't worry. Learn to make useful connections. We will teach you the high life. That was the summary of what his parents told him before he died. I learned this from them later. They believed I was a bad influence on him. After that argument, he locked himself in his room. When they went to call him for dinner, he was already dead. His suicide note read, Nobu, to you, the person most dear to me, I give you everything that was second in importance to me. At first, the parents hated me. They blamed everything on him having an otaku friend like me. But a couple of years later, we ran into each other by chance at the cemetery, and they invited me over. They showed me a photo album. There was the Philip the first knew. Photos of him at Wonder Festival standing next to a famous sculptor. Photos from the workshop of a professional modeler who liked him and let him film the process. These photos were framed with immense love. There were a few photos with his parents too, but in those, he wasn't smiling at all. Recently, looking at this album, I finally understood. I lied to him for a long time. Philip felt it, his father said. The house was full of liars. It must have been so hard for him. So he went to find what was precious to him in the outside world. And we tried to take that away. What fools we were. We killed Philip ourselves. But that's not true. Back then, in that room, a plan was already forming in my head on how to fix everything. Now I realize, who cares about other people's money? If you have 1,000 boxes and 1,000 people to build them, that's amazing. We could have dreamed of bringing our hobby to children all over the world. Philip would have definitely cheered for that. He would have said, good idea. He was a kind guy. We could have found a new dream. That would have been his style. I should have said it. I should have thought of it then. If he trusted me more than his family, if I had said it then, he would have... It was me. I'm the one who let Philip die. His parents want to adopt me because I remind them of their son. I refuse, over and over. Lately, they've been coming by every day. I hear them knocking on the door. Philip said he would give me what was most important. I can't accept what wasn't important to him. He must have hated that billionaire heir status, and I failed to support him when he needed it most. So his collection just stays there at his parents' house. Outside the door, I hear voices every day begging me to come out. I haven't gone to work in 6 months. My landlord pities me. He thinks I've lost my mind after losing my best friend. He's waiting for the rent, paying my gas, light, and internet bills himself. But for a month now, I've only been drinking water. In the corner of the room, Philip is building a model. I can't leave this room. Finally, happiness has returned. Philip died, you see? It's cool, right? He came back to me even after death. Though he only comes at night. We can build models together again. After he died, I completely lost it. I smashed my PS1, my PS2, but I have plenty of broken models. Philip fixes them. You can play forever just by swapping the parts on the Heavy Gear minis. A diorama with painted figures. The base is cracked, but if you imagine it's a fissure in the earth, it looks even cooler. It's amazing, isn't it? If you are truly dear to someone, they stay with you even after death. While Philip and I were hanging out, they came again. The voices are calling me. The landlord's voice says he's going to open the door with his spare key. I thought, God, they're so annoying. And then suddenly, Philip? What the hell is that? Everyone outside sounded so surprised. I wasn't really interested. I was helping Philip, who was pressing broken parts together with great strength. I was applying the glue. Nobu, the real me would never have locked you in here. voice with a slight English accent came from behind me. But I'm helping Philip fix the model right now. And anyway, do you really think I wouldn't have begged you to take that collection? If I think about it, he's right. If he came back, the first thing he'd do is tell me to go get his figures. And besides, he would have appeared where the collection actually is. Philip is standing behind me. Right. Then, who is this in front of me? My head cleared. The one I took for Philip didn't have blonde hair. It was black. My strength left me all at once. The creature lifted its face. It smiled innocently. A completely unfamiliar child. Boy, if you need a companion to the other side, pick me. The Philip behind my back stepped forward. He looked at me, then at the blurry silhouette of Philip. The real Philip reached out his hand, and the child grabbed it. With a zurun sound, like something sliding, Philip and the child slipped right through the tatami floor. I turned on the light. The room was a wreck. All the models I thought I was fixing were smashed even worse than before. My hands were covered in wounds, with sharp shards of plastic embedded in fresh cuts. When I opened the door, everyone gasped. Philip's father ran up and hugged me tight. I thought Philip was in here. Nobu, you look like a ghost. Should we call an ambulance? Looking at the faces of the landlord and Philip's father, I lost consciousness. Later on, Philip's family adopted me.